You did well. Thank you.
Thank you. Today, I'm not going to preach. Instead, I'm going to invite you to read and listen to a letter from God based on our study on the book of Ruth. You'll notice in your bulletins there is an envelope. I invite you to open the envelope, pull the letter out, and Doug, if I might ask you to pass around the mic. If we can go around, and if you would like to read a paragraph, one paragraph of the letter, please do so. We could do it kind of like how we do it in the readings for Holy Week. So if you want to pass, just pass the mic to the person sitting next to you. Maybe Wilma, would you like to go first and read the first paragraph? Thank you. And then Doug, if you can pass that around. Thank you so much. So this is a letter from God inspired by our study on the book of Ruth. As you hear the letter, I invite you to allow the words to speak to you personally.
My beloved child, you may not know everything about me, but I know everything about you. I know when you sit down and when you rise up. I even know how many strands of hair are on your head. For you were made in my image. In me you live and move and have your being. For you are my beloved child, in whom I am well pleased.
I knew you even before you were conceived, and I have set you apart. You were not a mistake. I even determined the exact time of your birth. You are wonderfully made. I knit you together in your mother's womb. I love you, and you are mine.
Like Amalek, I have blessed you with family, loved ones, friends, and a community. I know you have left the comforts of the familiar in search of a better life, and that has not always been easy for you. But I have been with you through it all, no matter how far you have gone.
Like the woman in the story, I know that you have been vulnerable, that you have grief, great loss, that you have faced great uncertainty. And I know that despite all those hardships, you have trusted, and when it was hard, you allowed others to help you and keep moving forward. And through it all, I have walked by you, side by side, and wiped away your tears through the loved ones who've consoled you.
Sometimes, like Orpah, you've given up to return to what you're familiar with. But even then, I am always at your side. Sometimes, like Ruth, you've journeyed into the unknown, even to the point of giving up what seems like everything. Like Ruth, you've been loyal. My beloved child of great faith, I rejoice in your faithfulness.
Sometimes, like Naomi, you have cried out and lamented. I have heard every word and seen every tear roll down your cheek. While you blame me for the tragedies that you face, your crying out to me acknowledge that. And I am here listening to your cries. And my beloved child, I have heard and will forever hear your cries and wipe away your tears.
And when all seems lost, I have already laid out paths to consolation, to healing, to forgiveness, to joy, to new life, and to peace before you. These paths were all around you if you but opened the eyes of your heart to see them. I will always provide for your needs, for food, for family, for companionship, for community, for meaning, for hope, for love, and for peace. In the Bethlehems of your life, You will find all these things, for my love for you will never end.
There is abundance before you, and I call you to share it with others. Like Boaz, allow others to glean your knowledge, your wisdom, your compassion, your faith, your prayers, and your wealth. In times of poverty, like Ruth, open your heart to my generosity, found in the generosity of others. Because you are made in my image, you have it in you to love selflessly and to be loved.
Like Ruth, who experienced generosity and responded with gratitude, you have done so day by day through your actions and Sunday after Sunday with your thanks and praise. I have heard your prayer as Ruth's prayer. May I continue to find favor in your sight, O God, for you have comforted me and spoken kindly to your child, though I am not worthy to be it. But you are my beloved child, even if you don't believe it.
Like Ruth, you experienced my abundance in food, in welcome, in the delights of the world, and in your privilege. And like Ruth, I know the sacrifices you have made and the oppressions you faced. In life's ups and downs, I am there. I have heard your praises like Naomi, who prayed, "Blessed be the Lord, whose kindness has not forsaken the living or the dead." You know this and have seen my loving presence and my loving action.
Like Ruth, you've shown great obedience to your family, your loved ones, to your conscience, and to me. Like Ruth, you've been loyal, courageous, fearless, and determined not only to survive, but also to be faithful to the path set before you. But I know that sometimes you've been weak and sometimes sinned against others and me. I'm always here, ready to embrace you when you turn back to me.
I know that the path before you hasn't always been clear or straight. There have often been obstacles placed by life's great tragic mysteries. There have even been obstacles that you yourself have placed before you, thinking that they are shortcuts. Sometimes you've overcome them and sometimes you've failed, but I love you just for trying. I love you just for even wanting to try.
Like Ruth, I know there are times when you feel like an object at the mercy of others. I know the great vulnerabilities and uncertainties you faced and continue to face, but trust that I send people before you to journey with you. Trust that I send people into your life to support you when they cannot carry your burden. And trust that those who have come before you, the entire cloud of witnesses, always walks with you.
And know this, my beloved child, that in the past, now, and in the fullness of time, I redeem all things. Every hardship you've endured, every heartbreak, every loss, every setback, every doubt, every ache and wrinkle, and every sin and every death you face, I redeemed all things. Trust that now and in the fullness of time, all things will be redeemed.
And know this, my beloved child, just as with Ruth and Naomi, all things will be restored with even greater abundance than you ever experienced it. Out of your faithfulness to me and your love for others, the seeds of hope, justice, and peace are being sown and are and will continue to bear fruit. Out of your devotion and loyalty, you have and will continue to bear much fruit. Even if you do not see it, trust that I bring life to the seeds of your faith and loving deeds.
My beloved child, I love you and you are mine. Have faith in me, being ever at your side in all good things and in people of good will. Have faith that my spirit dwells within you, guiding you all the days of your life, until you are one with me, and all in the fullness of time.
I invite you now to take a few moments to go through that letter again. Maybe there's one sentence, one phrase, one paragraph that touches you deeply. I invite you to sit with that phrase, that sentence, that paragraph.